6 weeks into the college football season, how does the Heisman race stand? Well, you got some typical names in there like C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, but there are a couple other guys that have kind of burst onto the scene even over the last couple of weeks. So let's talk about the Heisman. Let's do a top five list, and then you guys can tell me where I'm wrong. But you know I'm right. Starting off with a couple of honorable mentions in Spencer Sanders and Will Rogers. Spencer Sanders has been putting up video game like numbers all season. Oklahoma State has started the season undefeated. He's going to have a lot of opportunities to really keep making a name for himself. He's always been known as kind of a gunslinging, mistake prone quarterback, but he's really cleaned it up this year. Only had 2 picks. He's throwing a 61.5%. It's pretty good. I mean, with him, it was kind of feast or famine, but this year he's been doing really well. I have him at my number 7 in this Heisman list if you have to put a number on it. That's why he's only an honorable mention. But if he keeps doing what he's doing, and as the competition and the spotlight increases over the year, he could easily rise in these standings. And then Will Rogers is someone I really want to put in my top 5, but he's kind of not exciting. He's not flashy. There's definitely not much of a media spotlight on him. But look at his numbers. I mean, yes, part of that is the Mike Leach air raid system, but they are running a bit more this year. But what really sticks out to me is only 2 interceptions, and he's passing 71.5%. With the volume of passes that he is attempting each game, that's damn impressive to me. He can chop up a zone defense. He's not going to be flashy, though. He's not going to be the kind of guy that goes out and wows you like some of the guys in my top 5 will. But just doing what he's doing, being as steady as he is, I mean, if they keep winning, how can you keep him away from New York? I mean, how can you? I don't think he'll get the spotlight. And I'm saying, how can you? They'll find a way because he's not flashy, and it's just not a sought after TV market right now. But keep an eye on him. If he keeps it up, I mean, these numbers you can't deny them, and he's in the SEC. If he keeps winning, he's gonna have done it against the high end of competition. I mean, he plays Georgia later in the year. He plays Alabama. I mean, look out for that. He's going to beat Georgia. To be continued on that. All right, let's get into the top 5. At 5, I have C.J. Stroud. And he goes into the year as the consensus number 1 preseason Heisman candidate. You know, he had a ridiculous year last year, but too bad for him. Bryce Young was just a little bit better. He had a little bit of a rocky start to the year. The Notre Dame game, Ohio State's offense was inexplicably off that game for whatever reason. Sometimes first games are just like that in this sport. When you get a bunch of college athletes out there, the team's different than the year before. I kind of chalk it up to that, but it's still on the resume. And he also had a rough game against Rutgers. I mean, rough for his standards. I think he threw for under 200 yards that game. I mean, that's not even really an indictment, but when we're talking top 5 players in the country, all of whom will probably be NFL players one day, I mean, the standard is damn high. I mean, saying all of that, I think if you were a betting man, he's still the odds-on favorite. I haven't peeked at the numbers at the odds, but, you know, he's probably still the odds-on favorite. But besides his two down games, he's been typical C.J. Stroud. Laser arm, just NFL talent, can read a defense like none other. I mean, he's obviously an NFL thrower, even on the run. I mean, who runs and passes sideline to sideline better than C.J. Stroud in college football right now? I mean, it's kind of what he's known for, but he's just a great passer. So, I mean, if you had to put money on someone to rise in these rankings, it would probably be C.J. Stroud, but right now I have him at number 5. All right, and this might be the guy that's busting onto the scene most explicitly right now. I mean, the last 3 games, he's rushed for 500 yards over a 3-game stretch, and that's kind of been his Heisman campaign kickoff, has been the last 3 games. But that's Blake Corum. Michigan's a team that I've been high on this year, partially because of the talent they bring in, partially because of coaching, but also because of the way the schedule is set up. They've had 5 games to get things together before they go up against Penn State, and they lost a lot to the NFL last year. They lost their quarterback. They lost a lot on defense. But Blake Corum has been a stabilizer on this team. He's really helped them out in gaining traction on the season. They've passed a couple of tough tests with him as their lead man. And he's just a fantastic back. I mean, as far as quick cuts, getting defenders off balance and using their off balance, using them getting off balance to make cuts, he's top of the line at that. He has a good offensive line, and he uses it really well. He explodes through holes. He's just a great back. And at only 5'8", I mean, midget power, dude. This guy's ridiculous. Keep watching out for this guy. His Heisman campaign is really just getting started. So if he keeps it up, this trend could take him to New York, and he's definitely going to take him to the next level. I really like this guy. Keep watching him. He's lots of fun. Big game versus Penn State. You may have seen it already. I haven't. I can't wait to watch. And at number 3, a guy that a lot of people might not like because of the whole Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma situation, taking him with him, and that's Caleb Williams, obviously. I don't know if there's more of a pro-ready quarterback in the country right now than Caleb Williams. It's him or CJ Stroud. But, I mean, is it too much of a stretch to call him Mahomes light? I mean, he's just a gunslinger without having to step into his throws at all. He's making NFL-level throws right now. He knows Lincoln Riley's offense inside and out, and he's able to communicate it to the team. They're undefeated. They haven't played the toughest talent yet, but they're going to play some better teams. They're going to play Utah. They're going to play Oregon. But they've done it against who they're supposed to do it against, and he has looked great and been the clear leader on this team. And yeah, he has great receivers, but every quarterback on this list has great receivers. But he's just as spectacular as ever. He destroys man coverage. Apparently it's a question mark whether or not he can do it against zone coverage because the numbers are down against zone. But I bet you he figures that out. He's a really good quarterback, fun to watch. Even if you don't like him, you can't deny that. USC needs to start filling up their stadium because you're witnessing a great quarterback right now. One of the biggest things about the Heisman and winning the Heisman every year is the narrative and the story behind the player. And my top 2 guys are really, really strong in this department. At number 2, I have Hendon Hooker. Tennessee has been down for years. They've been scratching and clawing and praying and begging for success. I know these Tennessee fans are as hungry as any fan base because their fans have tasted success, and it's been ripped away from them for years. Well, Hendon Hooker is the quarterback to lead Tennessee from the darkness. I don't think he's necessarily as elite as CJ or as Caleb Williams, but he's a great college quarterback. He probably has a chance at the next level, but he just delivers catchable, receiver-friendly balls. He's avoiding mistakes. He can get it done on the ground. He's a really smart, good decision maker at quarterback that can just run over you as well. I love watching this guy play. I love watching Neyland Stadium get rocking and rolling. It's a fun quarterback to watch lead Tennessee out of the darkness. I'm a huge fan of this guy. That's why I have him at number 2 on my list. But there is one guy I like a little bit more than him, and it's very close. And as I mentioned about the story department, I think this guy has the coolest story in terms of leading a team from the darkness in the league, in the country. And that is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR himself. I mean, talk about improvement over his career. Under Chip Kelly, this guy's become a great decision maker, a more accurate passer, and he's elusive, and he's swag. He's swaggy out there. I mean, he's making defenders miss. He's doing it with a little bit of razzle-dazzle, a little bit of flash, a little bit of spice. I mean, think about that play against Washington where he had two defenders converging on him. He just sidesteps, and they run into each other and fall on the ground, and he scores a touchdown. I mean, it's flashy plays like that that get you far in this Heisman race, and I think DTR is number one in those kinds of plays. He's accurate. He throws on the run. He makes good decisions. Only 2 interceptions this year. I know he doesn't have the yards some of these guys have, but to have UCLA off to an undefeated start to the season with a chance to play for a lot more this season, I mean, they're convincingly beating teams that are supposed to compete with them. They convincingly beat Utah. They convincingly beat Washington. I hate the word convincingly, but damn it, I'm using it for my narrative. This guy's convincing me that he's a Heisman frontrunner. I love this guy. He's my favorite guy to watch in the country right now. But I'll be honest with you guys, if this top 5 list changes, I'll come back in a few weeks and revisit this thing. Subscribe, stick around. I want to keep you updated on this Heisman list and other news and situations going around college football. I'm also an A&M channel, so if you want to hate watch or if you want to do some nasty comments on the Aggies, jump into my channel as well. We welcome that. We'll fight you. We'll defend our Ags. But I love football. I love watching these guys. This is a great Heisman list. It's a fun year to watch college football. A lot of great quarterbacks out there. Also Blake Corum. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you soon.